Today's guest is Matt Wabshinak. Matt is a hunter and an outdoorsman. He's a professional heavy equipment operator. Matt tells us what it was like growing up on a gun club. He tells us some of the stories from his childhood and teen years, shares some different stories, things we did on the farm, and stuff we did growing up together. A couple years ago, Matt had a pretty bad accident. He explains what that was like, what recovery's been like physically and mentally, and how he's doing now. Overall, Matt's a great friend, and I'm really glad that he sat down and did this with us. This was our first video call-in podcast. We had some technical issues. I think we've got most of them sorted out, and we really hope to sit down and do this again with Matt. Enjoy. All right, Matt, this is the first one we've done video calls.
Gotcha. We're just gonna do it like that.
Should we just do it this way?
Yeah, because I think Matt's screen is going to stay the same. It's just showing more of us.
Yeah, so I think when we have it recorded back, it'll have it split. It'll just show.
Right.
I think it's just not showing everything that we would see.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I see of you guys is your shoulders.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, but I didn't do it on purpose.
Neither did I. All right, Matt. You're on our first video call podcast.
Yeah, man. Sorry for the challenges, but
That's all right.
I think we got it worked out.
Okay, let's do this. We're live. You know how it goes, Matt. Where were you born?
I was born in Putnam Hospital.
Putnam Hospital. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Where's that one?
Yeah, where is that one?
So like Carmel, Brewster area.
Is that where Andrew and Gary were born too?
Yeah, because at the time that's where my parents lived. My dad would.
Oh, where were they living then?
I have no memories of that. I just know my dad was working at the car dealership then down in Brewster.
How old were you when he moved to the gun club?
I want to say I was around 4.
Oh, so you were pretty
Yeah.
young. So you don't really remember anything before the gun club?
No, not at all.
You played hockey with Brendan, right?
Yep. So that was sorry about that.
You're
It's
good.
all right.
We can edit anything out, Matt.
I want to say I don't know, I was a young age, probably around 8 or 10. That's how I met Brendan, Patricia, Caroline.
Oh yeah, so you knew all them when you were pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that.
And Brewster, you said Putnam. Putnam is like near Brewster?
Yeah, it's Putnam County.
Okay, so, and that's in upstate New York?
Um,
Or
I don't-
middle of the state?
yeah.
Where's that at?
So Carmel is southeast of here.
Okay.
I'm up towards where Tim grew up in Millbrook.
It's like, I mean, it's upstate, but it's not that far. It's like the extended suburbs of the city. Putnam.
Okay.
I mean, it's like an hour and a half from the
Yeah.
city.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's technically upstate. I feel like anyone past Westchester calls it upstate.
Got it.
All right, so you don't remember anything before. What's the youngest thing you remember? Shooting
back
deer.
on a hunting memory. I was 6.
That's awesome.
I was 6 years old with a single shot 410 sitting between my dad's legs, and then I remember him calling in this turkey called strut the whole way. I was just like amazed by this turkey and how long how long I thought it actually took him to come in. But looking back now, it probably was only a couple minutes. And
You're probably shitting your pants if you're
yeah,
6.
no, I was definitely. The adrenaline was crazy.
You were 6 years old?
Yeah.
And that was your first time, I guess your first kill? Was that your first time hunting?
I probably had gone with my dad before then, but that was my first kill.
Okay.
I don't have the New York State handbook in front of me, but I'm pretty sure you weren't old enough to be
I was
hunting
not.
that. So you just dropped him with the 410?
Yep. I think he came into
How
like
far
14 yards.
Oh, damn. No wonder you're so addicted to hunting.
Yeah.
Very impressionable at that age.
Yeah. What do you remember after that? So like you pulled the trigger.
Of course,
Do you remember anything like after
when
that?
you shoot a turkey, it's kind of like when you cut a chicken's head off, they keep, their muscles are still going. So that turkey flopped over and was flapping its wings all over, and I just remember running up to it and like kind of sitting on it, making sure it didn't go anywhere.
Kyle, have you ever shot a turkey or cut a chicken's head off?
No. No, but I mean, I guess I didn't know that about turkeys, but I knew it about chickens.
Yeah.
But they, they move around for a while.
Yeah, and like you think, oh, it's a 20-pound turkey. You got this, but still to this day, you shoot a turkey and sit on it, but he'll give you a good fight.
Yeah, good ride.
Yeah.
What was your youngest deer kill?
I think it was the following year. I was 7.
Damn.
We had what you call the kill permit for excess crop damage and stuff that the deer were doing.
This was at the club.
Yeah, I think I shot one with the rifle that summer.
Oh, nice.
And then ever since then, up until a few years ago, that would be my birthday tradition. Is I would go out during the summer kill permit. I would shoot a doe on my birthday.
Oh yeah, because you're what, September?
Yeah, 22nd.
Yeah, and then I guess now both starts October 1st,
Yeah.
right? But it didn't even used to do that. It used to be like the second weekend of October or something.
Yeah, it was like the 15th or something.
Yeah, and then gun season isn't until November. I hear your dogs running around.
I told my dad to lock them up. Lay down.
Don't worry about it, man. I got a dog underneath the table right now, so he'll probably make some noise at some point.
Oh, what kind of dog is he?
Australian Shepherd.
You were asking me,
Yeah.
right, Matt? Yeah. Is that what you said?
No, I never saw it. I just have heard you guys on the podcast talking about the dog.
Yeah.
I just told you it's one of those barrel racer dogs.
Yeah.
And then you said, I don't know if you said is it an Australian Shepherd or not, but you might have. It's not a healer.
So Matt, how many siblings do you have?
I have 3 brothers, and I'm in the middle. 2 brothers. I'm in the middle.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, ask him all the questions that you
Yeah,
don't know.
Right, so you're in the middle. How old's your oldest brother?
He is 30.
Or how many years apart are you
He's
guys?
32, and my younger brother is 27. So there's 3 years in between my younger and 2 years in between my older brother.
Okay, got it.
So you're 30 now, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah, what's Matt's brother Gary? I think isn't his birthday a day before mine or something?
21st.
He's a day older than me. Yeah.
And I'm 5 days older than Becky.
There you go. This is what happens in small towns, man.
Yeah, 5 days older than Becky. What was it like growing up with, I guess, 2 brothers and you being in the middle? what kind of stuff did you guys do?
It could get crazy at
what
times.
kind of memories do you have?
Lots of fighting memories. I guess what brothers do. Nothing too serious till we got older, but we were never inside.
Yeah.
We were lucky and got to grow up on a big shooting preserve, so we could literally walk out my dad's door and just start shooting shotguns safely. Anything.
So when you say you lived on a shooting preserve, and you mentioned earlier that your dad, I guess, got a job at the gun club.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain that a little bit. Like, give a little bit of background context for me of like your dad works at a gun club. What's he do there? And then you live on a shooting preserve.
Yeah. So
which is the gun club.
Yeah.
The shooting preserve consists of about 82 members. I think is their cap. And I believe they pay yearly dues to keep the club running. Right now, I think there's 5 full-time employees, and back when I remember, I think there was 8. My dad's primary job in the summer is he picks up all the eggs, incubates them, and hatches all the birds for the shooting year, which is ringneck pheasant and mallard duck. They just recently started raising some partridge, a chucker, and some Hungarian partridge.
I don't know if Kyle knows. Explain it, Kyle, how they do the shoots. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, like a duck shoot, there's like, I don't know, maybe like a 20-acre field with staggered blinds 1 through 19. And then there's like a big mountain behind it. Or I should say in front of the blinds is a mountain where they release the ducks. Off of higher points, there's 6 releases.
Okay.
And then behind all the blinds is where the ducks live. It's their pond where they get fed. It's their home. So you don't really have to worry about the ducks ever flying away and not returning because they know to go back to that pond because that's where they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then
okay, that makes sense.
You see what's going on here, Kyle?
Yeah.
They'll do like they'll do upland hunts where they plant sorghum and I think there's 9 or 10 different field hunts, which each probably consists of maybe like 200 to 300 acres. And they'll go out in the morning and place the birds in the patch. You gotta walk. You hold the birds and you wind them up. Their head does this until they get really dizzy and kind of sleepy, forget where they are.
Okay.
And then that almost guarantees that they'll be roughly in that area when you come back with the dog and your clients.
Interesting.
So when you and Will say, because you guys would always say you guys are working to shoot, what would you guys be doing? Will's a good friend of ours that grew up with.
Okay.
Well, either you're throwing the birds towards the people who are shooting, which doesn't sound safe, but it's completely.
I was about to say
it's completely safe.
That sounds like a bad spot to be in.
And or you're behind the guns with your dogs, which I have 3 labs that are trained, and they retrieve the birds as they get shot.
Got it. I had no idea that, like, you say you like wind them up, so like you make them like you. How do you do that? Can you give me a little like? How do you wind them
You
up?
hold them from the back.
And this is specifically ducks?
No, you don't do it for the ducks. Just
This is the pheasant.
Just for upland hunting.
Okay.
So you grab them by, your thumbs are kind of by its spine, and your whole hand's wrapped around grabbing its feet. So you have a nice firm grip, and you you spin them in a circle, and their heads are fairly long, so they get going in a circle like this. I don't know, you do it for 10 or 15 seconds, and they get dizzy, and throw them in the patch, and they're usually roughly in that same area a couple hours later.
All right, cool. That's awesome.
So they must have a certain amount of time that they know they're just going to be kind of fucked up and sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, usually you start the hunt at 9:30 till 12. Once you get, towards the 12 o'clock mark, the birds may have ran, but they're in thick cover, so they're most likely still in that patch somewhere.
Do you think most of the members know that you guys do this?
I think back in the day, it was kind of like, kind of like a secret, but I think most of them today know what goes on.
Could you imagine that? You're going on a hunting trip, you think they put some birds out there for us to shoot? Or is this going to be a shitty hunting trip?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of like you go fishing at a stocked lake.
Right.
Right? Like, there's going to be fish there. So, or you go fishing near a fishery. So, I don't know. It kind of, to me, I guess that's kind of normal. But okay, so you grew up just like on that preserve and just spending time outside with your brothers.
Right. Yeah.
And what kind of stuff would you guys do just for fun?
Well, we did a lot of
besides shoot shit.
We did some clay shooting in the back. We had some rifle targets. We started archery pretty young. Then I want to say maybe we moved on to like BMX. We would take the tractor from my dad's work and build some big bike jumps.
Yeah.
And then turned into dirt bikes, quads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the BMX track that you guys had, or some of those jumps scared the shit out of me when I came over there.
Yeah,
they were big fucking
towards
jumps.
the end, they got pretty big.
I was like, these guys are fucking great.
Anybody break any arms?
No. My younger brother didn't really get into the BMX. It was me, my older brother, and a couple of his friends. Nobody broke anything at my house, I don't think.
Matt, I'm thinking of so many memories keep popping up when you're talking about this. Do you remember when you bought that dirt bike and Shane hopped on it?
Yeah, no, that was actually Andrew. Andrew had saved up enough money to buy his own dirt bike because I think he got one for Christmas one year, and we all kind of rode it. And he got a Kawasaki KX 85, which was a 2-stroke. And I forget where we picked it up, but we got home. Andrew rode it. I think I rode it. And then our buddy Shane took it for a ride, and he had power band, ended up doing a wheelie, and didn't want to drop my brother's bike. So he hung on to it. Somehow, I think the clutch lever or the handlebar caught him in the nose, and I think he had to get like 6 or 8 stitches in the bottom of his nose. His nose separated from his cheek.
I just remember him like fucking running down the road with the fucking bike and things.
It was an 85?
Yeah.
Got it.
Like within an hour of when he got it back there. He had just bought it.
Yeah.
I don't think it fucked the bike up at all, did it?
No.
Probably scratched it a little bit.
No damage to the bike, just Shane's nose.
Yeah. The other thing I thought of before when you were talking about what we did, do you remember the wars we would have with the apples?
Yep.
You guys would chuck them at each other.
Tell Kyle about that. It was so much fun.
We would. So there's a couple old apple trees out behind my dad's house that didn't really produce eating fruit. It was just they were so old that they were like half the size of a baseball.
Okay.
So you would go on a 4-wheeler with a team, 2 people. The guy in the back, you'd stop at the apple tree and pick a bunch of apples and put them in your shirt like a pouch. And then you would drive around and find the other guys. And the guy in the back was responsible for throwing the apples at the other people on the other 4-wheeler.
That's awesome. How old were you guys at this time?
I don't know. I think I met Tim.
Like 25.
I met Tim before I could drive. Cool if I share this story, Tim?
Yeah, because I know when I met you, so
Yeah.
share any story you want.
So I was too young to drive, and me and my buddy, I was at another buddy's house who lived near this park called Timor Park, which is right in the town we grew up in. And it was wintertime. We were out across the frozen lake on an island having like a fire. And at that time, this kid, Nick, knew Chrissy was her name, one of Tim's ex-girlfriends. So I think they had walked out to the island, and that's the first time I met Tim. And then, sure enough, somebody reported us for having a fire. So I think the state troopers had walked out, and they pretty much crashed that party.
You weren't allowed to have a fire.
I guess not. I mean, I don't know why. It was winter. There's snow on the ground, ice.
Mm-hmm.
We might have been drinking some beers. I'm not sure.
I'm sure. I barely remember that. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Nobody got arrested or anything, right? I think Nick was the one getting the hardest time of it.
Yeah, no, we didn't really get in much trouble.
Yeah, that was because then I don't know when we just started hanging out after that, because I broke up with that girl eventually. But me and Matt,
were you guys driving at that time or no?
I could drive, Matt could,
okay.
But I'm
I think
2 years older than Matt.
I think I was catching some rides from her. At that point, I had met back up with Brendan again at your house, the kid who I played hockey with. And then he lived in Pauling, so he would have to drive past my house to go up to Tim's. So I would catch a ride with him, or my older brother would drive me.
That's all we used to do, like when we were younger. Is like you could either drive or you couldn't drive yet, but you'd be trying to get to one of your friend's house, which was like 10 minutes away, and there wasn't any Ubers or anything.
Right.
I mean, it was more I don't know. You were at least 20 minutes from the farm, right?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays the way I used to drive was quicker, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess to my dad's house it was 20.
Yeah. Yeah, where you're at now, you can make it in 10 if you're. Well, it used to be 15 when I worked at Brian's. Yeah, so that kid Brendan, I was good friends with him, and then Matt played with him when they did hockey when they were younger. And then as they got older, I'm friends with Brendan, and then we realized that Matt knows Brendan, and but that's like everything's so small there. That's always how it goes. Everyone knows everyone.
Right.
Everyone trades ex-girlfriends.
Matt, we can get there. We can get to those kind of stories. Matt, did you play other sports besides hockey?
I did wrestling in middle school.
Okay.
7th and 8th grade.
Okay, got it.
I was going to ask this before when we were talking about the shoots. What's like the wildest story you remember? Craziest thing that ever happened on one of the shoots?
That's a good question.
Oh, if there was because we have headphones on right now. Kyle's dog didn't hear that, but if Kyle, I wonder what Bodie would have done if he
would have barked.
He would have freaked out.
I don't know what they're barking. Sorry about that.
That's all good.
I might have to come back. I might have to think about that question for a little while.
When those guys would do a duck shoot, what do you think percentage of ducks they hit? Like, were those Were any of those guys any good, or were they all pretty terrible?
There's a handful of guys that are really good. So
can they bring friends
yeah,
with them?
so when the season starts, usually third weekend in September. Shortly after that, they'll do what they call a special party. So a member can sponsor a group where usually he brings like people who he works with, or maybe some fellas he wants to make deals with, and they'll bring a group of people either Monday or Wednesday during the week, which is what they call a special party, and they'll come up and shoot for the day with their friends or clients, and then any other day during the week is open to any other member or guest they want to bring.
So it's basically like if you're like taking business partners golfing, but you just take them to your shooting club
Right.
instead.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Does something sound weird or no?
No, I thought something was upstairs.
So what? Yeah, how much? Like, were they hitting like 75%?
No, I would say a lot of times it's less than 50. If you get,
so many shells to pick up.
Yeah, that too.
So you basically worked at the gun club a lot.
Well, I could never get paid till I was 14, but every weekend I was there with my dad.
Yeah.
Or I was at.
When you say weekend, right? So you lived like close by or on the same property, or like next to it?
Right on the property, but
okay, got it.
During the week I had school, so on the weekends I could not stay home. I just hated being inside, so I would go with my dad. I also had a good friend of mine now. He taught me how to trap, so I would go with him on the weekends as well. And he would show me the ropes.
What would you guys trap?
Coyote, bobcat, beaver, muskrat, mink, raccoons. Sometimes you catch a possum, skunk.
What's the biggest thing you've ever caught?
Biggest thing was, I think, a 38-pound bobcat.
Damn,
it's a big bobcat.
Yeah. I think didn't you set that trap, that beaver we caught at the farm, right?
Yeah.
That one was big, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
What?
That sounds fun, man.
I'm just like thinking of that, like
catching all of those things.
It is really fun. And in order to catch them, you got to know what they do.
Yeah, you got to like study them and know what they eat, and where to put the trap and all that.
I learned a lot from this guy, Steve.
Yeah.
So he's the one. Don't you go hunting with him?
Yeah.
Every day of opening season.
I used to take him out every opening season, and he loves to shoot like weird rack deers or spikes. He doesn't want anything big. But if it's got 3 on one side and nothing on the other, he'll shoot it. If it's got 1 on one side and 5 on the other, he just likes the weird racks.
I don't know why that is.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know you'd always say that. You're like, I got to take Steve out to shoot his spike horn. Did you ever have any wild encounters with something you caught that was still alive?
Yeah, a lot of times we would catch bobcat in what you call a foothold trap, which would catch them by the front paw. And they would still be alive, so you would have to go up to them, and we would shoot them in the head with a .22. So, you could walk up to a wild animal in a trap, and they're not too happy to see you.
No, they're freaking out.
They're so mean. I mean, I've come up on deer when they're not dead, and they're like, they'll do anything to stay alive.
They're
like,
wild.
They're like,
and they're scared shitless of you.
yeah.
So
What else you got, Kyle?
I mean, you got to have some stories of you and your brothers getting into some trouble, right? What kind of trouble did you guys get into?
Well, when we lived in the first house on the gun club, which was a smaller house than what we ended up moving into and really growing up in, they had like a tractor trailer parked out back behind the house, and we shot all the lights out with the BB gun, not realizing actually what we were doing. It was just like a target.
Yeah, you were just.
It was just like a target, something that when you shot it, exploded. Yeah. It was pretty fun.
Yes, then you kept doing it, and then you were like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit!"
And then
we just fucked that tractor trailer.
Years later, when they come to pick it up, we were in some trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were always getting yelled at for something, but I don't really remember getting in too much like serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of knew our limits.
Yeah, Gary would probably only put up with so much, huh?
Yeah.
So, like when you got home from school, you just were constantly outside.
Yeah. No, screw the homework, screw school. It was straight outside to find something to do.
Yeah.
And I mean,
how old were you when you?
I think I was cutting a lawn on a ride-on tractor when I was like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Weed whacking, house chores.
Yeah, you'd rather do that than homework. Yeah.
How many years did you go to summer school in high school, Matt?
I think I went to summer school all the time.
Why? Because you were making up classes?
No, I never skipped school. I was always scared to skip school. I didn't put in the work because I didn't want to be there.
Okay, so summer school, you were like making up like a class you failed. Right. Okay.
Which, to be honest with you, I don't know why, but the summer school teachers, they would get it through to me. Like, I spent, I don't know, however many months in school, and the teacher, I never really connected with the teacher, and then you go to summer school, and it's like, either they made this way easier, or I'm actually understanding it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which my dad.
I wonder if that's because like there's more attention maybe in summer school. There's at least in the summer school I went to a couple times, there was like less students, and so teachers could spend more time with you.
How many times did you go to summer school?
A couple years. I went to summer school. I didn't fail any classes. I went to summer school because my mom knew that that if I didn't, that the next year would be tough.
So she just sent you so you could.
Yeah, I'd get out of practice and then the next year, like the next school year, like I'd spend the first 3 or 4 months like trying to figure out what we were doing last. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like pick it up. It didn't stay with me. So I don't know that I don't think I ever failed a class. Specifically, but I might be wrong about that.
I think I would be more mad that Matt was in summer school than he was.
I think I actually remember helping you, Tim, with some homeschool stuff.
Some of my homeschool work. Yeah. I can't say I was any further ahead of you. We just had a different grading system.
Yeah.
When did you get into snowmobiling? Did you have many sleds when you were younger or no?
My dad had bought one for the family when we were younger. It was like an Arctic Cat Puma 330 or 320. So I would go out to the local park, that Timor Park, with my buddy Nick. He had a little bit newer sleds. And then, I would jump my dad's like, no, take it easy. I would jump this thing, flip it over.
He's fucking out of his mind on anything he's operating. It's not a joke. And I think I'm like not that smart, but he's like,
yeah,
and not stupid. He just has like balls of steel when he's on dirt bike, on a snowmobile, on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think my mom had wrapped it around the cedar tree. So that was the end of that.
How was your mom? She was all right?
Yeah, I think so. She just fucked up the hood and the front, she ran the front ski right into a tree.
Yeah.
So that was it for snowmobiles. My dad didn't buy us anymore. About that time, he had a Polaris Magnum 325 that we would tow each other in the winter. We would hook a sled to a rope. I think we started using the quad because the snowmobile was toast. And us kids never checked the oil, and we blew up my dad's four-wheeler. So he was not happy about that. I think he ended up rebuilding it. But then we were smart enough not to use that anymore.
That's so much.
I think I bought my own snowmobile maybe 10 years ago, so I was probably 20. I bought a Polaris Edge, and at that time I was going up north with a friend of mine, where they have hundreds and thousands of miles of groomed ski trails, snowmobile trails, and the snowmobile I had was outdated for that type of riding because everything was all new, and it was kind of like riding a dirt bike. The newer sleds, you were up front, had all the good suspension, and me trying to keep up with my friend in the trails. My body was just so beat. So that next morning, I rode to the dealership, and I ended up trading that in on a brand new. I forget what year it was. It was a brand new Skidoo 600. I remember I guess my credit wasn't good enough then, and they're like, well, we can't sell it to you because your credit's too bad. So I said, all right, no problem. I took out my debit card and I swiped the difference on the credit card, and I went riding that same morning.
Nice, man.
So you just paid for it. Yeah. You're like, I don't need the credit. I'll just pay for it.
Exactly.
Was that the same sled you had that you brought up to the farm, or then then you bought a different sled?
No, it had to be more than 10 years ago. And I think it was 2016. I had brought it up to Tim's farm, and he had this.
Was that
the gravel bank where we would dig gravel out of? It was like.
Wait for Kyle to come back, and then you can tell him that story. What about the bike? What was the bike you had that got stolen? Do you remember that?
Yep. So I first started off with my first motorcycle was like a Honda 230 Enduro, which I rode that for I don't know how long, and it was way too slow. So then I think I traded that in on the Ducati. No, that was a Husqvarna 610.
Yeah, because remember I had that Yamaha and you had something then.
Yeah, I think it must have been the Husqvarna. The red and white.
Yeah, because we went riding a few times.
Yeah.
We didn't go far though, because I think I only had a permit and you didn't even have a license. Did you ever get your motorcycle license or no?
Yeah, I have it.
Matt was just telling a story. I told him to wait about the snowmobile at the farm. Go for it, Matt.
So, I think it was like the weekend after I came home with a brand new snowmobile with like 400 miles on it.
Mm-hmm.
we had some snow back home, so I brought it up to Tim's farm, where we would
Like you put it in the back of the truck or something?
we would,
Okay.
anything with wheels or tires, we would ride up at the farm. So I brought this snowmobile there, and Tim had, down by his house, he had this, it's hard to explain, but if you're coming down the driveway from his barn, the pasture on the left would go really, really high up on the left. And as you went down the driveway, that's where they would dig their gravel out of. It was all bank run gravel. So I'm assuming the slope was probably 45 degrees. And we would take quads and another buddy's dirt bike, and we would go up and down like a horseshoe, up and down the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, of course, I get there with the snowmobile, and I'm like, fuck it.
Might as well try it.
Do it with the snowmobile. And, of course, I got to the top, and I don't know if I didn't have enough momentum or I wasn't leaning the right way, but I got to the top, and we rolled all the way down. Brand new snowmobile? Brand new snowmobile.
You rolled like sideways?
Barrel roll.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably like, I don't know, what do you say, Tim? 25, 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what shape was your brand new snowmobile in?
I'm pretty sure I smashed, the windshield was just smashed. And
something with a brake handle
or
something?
I think I broke the brake handle, and
okay,
the kill switch was looked like a squirrel chewed on it.
What happened to Will's truck that night? You should tell him everything.
The same night?
You should tell him everything we were doing that night, because remember there was a fire.
Yeah, I think we built a jump over like a small bonfire, and we were jumping gasoline-powered snowmobiles and maybe a quad.
Over a fire. Yeah. In the winter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I had that old piece of shit Polaris snowmobile.
That sounds awesome. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did a lot of stupid stuff. Luckily, it only took me 28 years to get hurt, but that's a story for later.
Yeah.
Tell him about?
So
tell him about Will's windshield.
I think might have been having like a snowball fight or whatever. I was spending the night at Tim's, and our buddy Will, he was going home, and I don't know what the temperature was that night, but Will had his truck on for a while with the defroster warming up. And he was saying, "Oh, I'm leaving in 10. So at this point, his windshield was pretty freaking hot on a freezing cold night. And I thought it would be funny to throw like a oversized snowball at Will's windshield as he was leaving. And come to find out, it was not a good idea, because as soon as that frozen ice chunk hit his windshield turned into a spider web.
Yeah, so it cracked.
Yep.
I didn't know that that could happen.
I guess I didn't even realize it was because of the temperature. I thought it was just like a big frozen chunk of ice that hit it, but that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Why that happened. It was also an old truck. It was like a 90s Chevy.
Interesting. Because like the outside of the windshield would have still been pretty cold, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way. Okay. Yeah, so you threw a big ass snowball on it and broke his windshield. Yeah. And I bet he was happy about that.
No, he wasn't. Surprisingly, we're still friends to this day.
He took it pretty well, though. Will, he's like pretty good spirit for the most part.
He also
But that was like
He also had another injury up at the farm where our friend Brennan pulled out onto the road, and I think we told him to do a burnout or something. And he did, his truck did like a one-leg burnout, and finally caught traction. We were sitting on the tailgate, three of us, and Will went flying off, and I think his pinky got caught in the tailgate strap. I think he like broke his pinky and got some road rash.
So he did a burnout with you guys on the fucking tailgate. Yeah, got it.
What about do you remember when we were playing chicken with
Yeah, was that the same night or different?
It might have been, because you were in the passenger seat of the truck with
Yeah, I
me,
was in
right?
the black Chevy with you.
Yeah. Tell Kyle that story.
You guys were playing chicken with trucks?
Oh, we were out, and we were out at...
Fucking idiots.
where were we? Oh, down at the creek.
We were coming from the creek,
I think we were putting some firewood out there for the night and going back to the house to grab other things. And at that point, we were halfway across the hayfield, and Brendan was coming to check on us. And we decided, let's play chicken. And I think we both turned the same way. Two old schools, 90s Chevys with the steel bumpers. I don't think much happened, but
so you both turned the same way, locked up the brakes, and then smacked each other's bumpers?
I don't even know if we hit the brakes.
I swear that we.
So you must have not going that fast then. If there wasn't that much damage.
There wasn't that much damage, but I don't know what there's. I mean, we all were probably drinking. Who knows? But I thought we had a plan. Like I was going to go right, and he was going to go right, and then we both went to turn, and the field was wet or something. And just neither of us moved.
Mm.
That was pretty funny. That was like an average weekend night at the farm.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah,
just the complete debauchery.
Right. And then you get up early in the morning and milk cows.
A lot of times, yeah.
We would
everyone
help with chores.
Yeah, like Matt and Brendan and Will, we've all milked cows, hung over, and had to yeah.
Nice.
It was just fun. What was? Oh, that was Brendan. I was thinking of one morning, but I think it was something with Brendan. What's the wildest story you remember on the farm, Matt? Even though you just shared a bunch of good ones.
Well, there's a couple that stand out to me.
How's my snowmobile?
Yeah, I'll get to that. So back behind one of the fields into the woods was what we called the mud pit, where at the time I think Tim had like a lifted F350. It's like with some serious mud tires on it. We would go just for fun, go drive through the mud. And then it got too boring, so we would go out there and stir the mud up with the bucket tractor and make it deeper. To the point where we had to take Tim's bulldozer to pull. I think, did we get the tractor stuck or we had to pull the truck?
Yeah, bad. We had a tractor bottomed out.
So you had the tractor, your truck, both of them stuck?
I don't know if the truck was stuck. I don't know why.
I think we were just
maybe it was.
I think we were trying just to stir the mud pit up with the 4-wheel drive tractor and ended up getting that stuck.
Got it.
So
you pulled it out with a dozer.
Yeah. And then I think we had that same kid, Nick. He was driving a Dodge 2500 at the time. And I think there was a couple other people there antagonizing me, like Clinton and Tim. I forget, Brendan was probably there too. Nick, I don't know why we had shotguns, but Nick was driving his truck through the mud pit, and they were telling me to shoot his tailgate as he was in his truck driving. So
it's birdshot, not.
I don't know how.
This makes which makes it so much more reasonable.
I don't know how
I was gonna say you're shooting your buddy's truck.
I didn't break his back window, but there was a full pattern of birdshot on his tailgate, which I don't know how he didn't kill me, but I mean, looking back now,
What did he
it's
think?
so
I mean,
fucking stupid. But
I'm glad because Kyle, you need to understand what I mean when I say how stupid I was. Like,
yeah,
it was a collective group of stupidity.
yeah.
I mean, not to make it sound better than it is, but I was fairly far enough away that I don't think a BB would have done damage, but it was enough to take the paint off his tailgate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we grew up, there was all that like the jackass shit, what was it? CY2K or what you know what I'm talking about?
I know Jackass. Yeah.
So like the guys from Jackass came from like there was a whole another thing before Jackass. And it was called like CYK, I don't know. Anyway, that was kind of like the whole era, right? Of just like absurd, do all kinds of absurd shit.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, I understand it. I never shot, or none of my friends ever shot any tailgates, driving through a mud pit, but it's not that far off.
I don't think we were inspired by anybody. It was just our own, doings. We would go up the steepest part of Tim's property with pickup trucks and get stuck. Go through the woods, hammered.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then another story about Tim's snowmobile. We were out partying at the bonfire, and I had my AR with me at the time. I don't know whose truck I was in the back of, but like, I think we were doing donuts in this one part of the field that would get wet, stand in water. And then we ended up driving to the night pasture where Tim's snowmobile was either broke down or ran out of gas. This was like in the spring or the summer, I think.
It had been sitting there a while.
Yeah.
Where it was broken down.
Oh, whoever was antagonizing me then.
I think it was Brendan. It was definitely Brendan.
Telling me to
sound like a Brendan
shoot
story.
Tim's snowmobile. So I'm like, this is really fucked up, but I'll do it. So trying not to fuck his snowmobile up any worse, I just aimed for the seat. So there would be minimal damage, but I did shoot his snowmobile seat.
You shot it several times, didn't you? I don't even remember. I went somewhere else because there was something like.
I think you were doing your Tim thing when you got drunk. You would run away.
Wait, what?
I was gonna say the only thing I do now when I get drunk is eat pizza.
I was gonna say, what do you mean you run away? Where would you go?
Yeah, where would I go, man?
He wouldn't go far, but he would just we found him like 80 yards in the swamp, just sitting under a tree at that time.
Just hanging out by himself? And that was a common occurrence?
Yeah. If we're...
I'm being dead serious. I don't remember this.
Because you were wasted.
Yeah, we would get stupid wasted just for no reason.
I thought it was like something to do with it, like a girl or something, and that I like left or something for some reason.
I don't know. I remember a few times it's just like you turn around, it's like, where's Tim? And then we would have to go find him. I remember I picked up, I don't know who I was with, but we had to pick up Tim from this party up at the Millbrook Hunt, which is they hunt off horseback with the dogs. They did basically just scare the coyotes. I don't think they really shoot them. But I don't know what Tim was drinking that night, but he was in rare form. He got out of the truck and just army crawled into the house. And he was in another world.
You were so drunk you had to army crawl?
I don't remember this. I was so drunk I do not remember.
We made him take a shower. I think he threw up in the shower.
Yeah, so he's really messed up.
Maybe this is why I don't drink.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't even remember where that was from. Do you know what party that was?
No, I wasn't invited. I don't even know how I was. Maybe I was at your house waiting for you. I'm not sure.
I didn't know if you were going to tell this story. Do you remember this when we were shooting clays that day? Because that was on the snowmobile.
Yeah, with the when we emptied the bird shot.
Tell Kyle that if you think the tailgate wasn't good enough.
So at the time, this guy Clinton I'm talking about was dating Tim's older sister for a little while. Before, I don't know, they broke up, and we would still hang out with Clinton. Still is. He's a pretty cool dude. Him and his friend, I think his friend Gary. I think it was Farmer Nick, I think, was there. Tim.
A guy named Farmer Nick.
Maybe Brent.
I was going to say,
Brendan.
Nick or Farmer Nick?
And we took the bird shot out of like a 12-gauge shell. And this guy, Gary, let us shoot him. And all that would come out is what is a wad. The wad is what holds the BBs. And this thing would come out and like instantly break his skin and bruise and welt.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just let us shoot him with it. Which
it was like his idea, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And these guys they're quite a bit older than us. So we were just like following their lead.
Yeah. How old were you guys at this point?
I don't know, like in our early 20s. They were probably in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah, we might have been a little younger.
Yeah, maybe we weren't even 20. Let's say we were 15.
I was going to say.
Since this is recorded.
Right.
That was fun, though. Do you remember we were shooting clays? The guy on the back of the snowmobile was shooting the clay, and someone was driving.
Yeah, so somebody you'd throw clay out and you would shoot it off the back of the snowmobile.
Yeah, while someone was driving the snowmobile.
It'd be challenging for sure.
It was like the Apple Wars enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
And then another memory I have is at this time Tim was living in the house closest to 44 on the farm. And we were having a party. And I think earlier that day, these three ladies had stopped by the farm and asked Liz if they could camp for the night down in one of the fields. So these bikers must have been coming. They must have been like on a long road trip or something. And we got wasted up at Tim's and we're like, let's go scare the shit out of these three ladies that are camping. So I don't know if we drove down and parked at the road or what. I don't know how we got down there. We might have just walked down the street. And we went down there, and sure enough, there's these three tents. And we walked up to the tents and just shook the tents and started screaming. And
you guys are fucking
we're so stupid.
We ran away. Ran back up.
How old were you at this point?
Probably same age.
We ended up growing up and stopped doing stupid shit after a while, but so
they were probably fucking freaking out. The ladies were.
So we're all standing in Tim's like mudroom, watching the road, and a sheriff's car goes down the road, and at this point, we're still pretty drunk. Somebody fell over and turned the freaking outside light on. So now we're all fucking scared, like shit. This cop is gonna know we just did that.
Uh-huh.
And we settled down, and then about a half hour or so later, you see these three bikers coming up the road with their headlamps on, leaving. So they got so scared they left for the night.
Mm.
Which,
Got it.
if anybody of them is listening, I'm sorry.
Me too.
Yeah, it was for your guys' entertainment.
I like barely remember it.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of these stories. People, when you or Brendan tells them, I'm like, I guess I probably did that because you guys are saying.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think my brain erased them.
most of the time on the farm was work. I ended up working full time for Tim when I got out of high school. He had his hay business. We would mow the cemetery across the street, weed whack the cemetery, which took about 4 hours to mow, like 2 hours if we were both weed whacking. Milking cows.
Matt had the nickname Sneezy because he's pretty much, you're allergic to hay,
Yeah.
right? So he's making hay and it just like the allergies would
Just constantly
kill him.
sneezing.
And then
Matt hates hay.
I don't know what I did. I think I started Excavation after that. I would still milk cows for Liz when she needed, especially when she started her raw milk stuff. And I think Tim had moved away by then. I would still help Liz with some chores around the farm. And then I took up Excavation. I had worked for this guy for 4 years. It was pretty rough. So he liked to yell a lot. And I did not like to be yelled at, so I would most of the times yell back. And then 5 minutes later, he would get over it, and I'm like, shit, man, you just yelled at me like that. I'm not over it right now. So that was kind of hard to deal with. I did that for 4 years, and then I learned a lot. Did a lot of cool projects. And I wanted to do my own thing at the time. So I did a few jobs, but I just didn't have the overhead at that time. And I was a little scared to just go for it, which looking back now, I regret that a lot. So then,
You had some crazy stories with Ed, right? Like, what's the craziest story you're working with? Like, this guy's, he's got family out here. Ed, the guy that Matt worked for, his brother and his brother's sons work on a ranch in Billings.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know, Matt, how would you describe Ed?
it's just like, well, he grew up farming, so he was like a crazy farmer that like did excavation. So like, a lot of times I would be back fixing. He rushed, and I kind of had an art for the finish work at the end, and so I would always try to slow him down. It was always a rush. We did a lot of work at this one private estate in Millbrook. I remember at the time was the biggest excavator I had operated was a PC 400 Komatsu. Did that at
Matt's I was going to say, you're the type of operator that could get on that excavator and he could like open a beer bottle with the tooth. Like you've seen videos of guys doing that. Like that's literally how precise Matt is with something that big.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
We needed it. We were building a waterfall, and we needed the reach and the bigger excavator to lift these giant rocks. So just got delivered from the rental company because he didn't own anything that big. So they took it off the trailer, and I started driving this thing up a snow-covered field. And I'd never driven. That was double the size of what I was used to. So I get going up this side hill, and my track starts slipping, and I slid back 5 feet. So I'm like, whatever. I'll take a new path, because at that time the snow was packed and icy. So I take a new path. I get 20 feet higher, and I go backwards 20 feet more than the first time. And like by the third time, I'm like almost at the top of this hill, and I went sliding down backwards, tracks sideways, trying to dig my bucket in the ground. And the ground was so frozen, it didn't matter. I went all the way back down to the bottom. And at that time, I was almost shitting my pants, and my boss was like, get it up there. So I think the fourth time I made it. And that winter, I remember it was like minus 20 with wind. We're kind of in like an open field with a pond behind us, and the wind was just brutal. So that was one project we did there, which was pretty crazy. I mean, we would...
I thought you were going to say Ed hopped on that thing and just like went full ham on it.
We would build these crazy recirculating streams that would feed into a pond and back up to the top of the stream.
You know how big that property is?
I don't, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say it's probably around 600-700 acres, and 3/4 of it is fenced in, so the deer can't get in to all the gardens, and this place was just like not.
So this person, there's like somebody whoever runs it is building like their own like oasis there or whatever, like whatever the hell they want to build. It's like something.
The guy started
it's like a huge project for them.
He started as a cab driver in the city. This guy, and if you could see what this one property, I don't know where else he owns or whatever, but there's like 35 full-time people there.
It's kind of like the Yellowstone Club, except one person's place. The whole 700 acres is theirs, but like that kind of money.
Yeah.
But there got a point too where I didn't like working there anymore, because you would build this beautiful stream, brand new pond, and next year you were tearing it up because he wanted something different. And all your hard work was just like, what did I do that for?
Right.
Yeah, that guy probably funded a lot of Ed's company, huh?
Yeah, he still works there to this day.
Yeah. Sarah, my cousin, her boyfriend works there full time.
Okay.
And I think Jerry Brown does too. Yep. Casey's uncle.
They're just doing like maintenance on the place?
Yeah, just like mowing lawns and taking maintenance.
Maintenance. There was they had horse people. They had these, I don't know what kind of donkeys they were. I think they were French, from France. They had like the long hair.
They're pretty big too, aren't they?
And they had maintenance. They had full-time horse people. They had a special guy that, would go fix the plumbing and electrical. He was like the handyman, knew where everything was on the property. And then
this is backing up. Sorry, go ahead.
And then there was a full-time tree crew who would trim trees. There was a full-time crew that would plant trees. And at the time, I think they had, there's a greenhouse And I think at the time they had more freezer and refrigerator space than the local Adam Farraker Farms does, which is like a fresh meat, fresh vegetables type of grocery store up
Big
by
grocery
us.
store.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
What do they use all that space for?
They had year-round flowers, fruit, vegetables, and I think they would ship it to wherever the owner was.
Oh, really? So they were just growing stuff to
Yep.
eat year round? That's kind of wild.
So
I was thinking.
after that,
Sorry, go ahead.
after I worked for Ed, I think I was going to do my own thing and opted not to, and I ended up helping our buddy Will, who has his own hay business as well. I helped him for a while. And I went back to work in Excavation for Clinton was my foreman. I ended up working for his company until my accident.
Okay, so Clinton's the guy that dated my sister Katie,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been excavating since he was probably 18 too,
Yeah,
huh?
he's really good too. I learned a lot.
What I was thinking before, I was going to ask you, do you remember when I lived at that farm in Hillsdale and Gary brought you guys up there?
Yep.
Your brother. I just remember like one night we were hanging out there partying, but I'm like, I know I was 17 then.
Can we take a time out for a second?
Yeah.
Sure.
Dad. Yeah. Put the dogs away. Come on.
Is that loud in your headphones?
God. You can still hear him, can't you?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
You're
I'm gonna have to tell him to go put TV on in the other room.
All right, what were you saying? Something about when I was lived in Hillsdale? So I
You were
was
saying something
17.
about my brother brought me up there.
I got the job on this farm when I was 17, and they literally like gave me a house to live in. So I'm like the 17-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I've left the farm that I grew up on,
Mm-hmm.
and I just basically have this house that we can party in.
Yeah.
It's like
So
Matt's
like,
brother
fuck yeah.
driving him up there. I don't know who else came.
I don't know either. Wasn't Doug Burlingame that?
He could have been there.
Yeah, because I remember taking Katie's Mini Cooper and he was driving.
Yeah, this guy this other guy worked at the farm would buy me chew because I wasn't old enough to buy chew. Like, so dumb. Because there was remember the Subway in Amenia, Matt? Remember they would sell us chew? There's a place that would sell us chew when we were like 16. I was over 30 minutes from there.
Mm-hmm.
Now Kyle's dog's awake. So I had to get a new source.
Lay down.
But when did you between working for Ed and Clinton, you worked at the gun club for a while, right?
No, the gun club was the Burbank gun club I did.
Yeah.
Lay down.
Which is where your house is.
Yeah, right up the road from my house.
How long did you work there for?
It took like 2 years.
What else, Kyle? Got any other questions? I don't even think I want to hear any more stories about the shit we did. I get anxiety every time I start hearing it.
There's plenty of stories. I mean, if I wasn't working, I was hunting deer season. I don't have anything behind me, but I have a lot of mounts in the house.
That's a good question. What's your best hunting story? Because you have a million of those.
Well, best hunting stories is usually when I was with a buddy. So a lot of memories at the farm hunting. I remember that tree stand you hung up on the ridge. I think you had killed there the morning before with the bow.
That's what I mean. That's like one of my favorite hunts. And then I remember you like the next day or something, and you went in the same stand.
I went in the same stand next morning and I shot an 8-pointer. And then there's the 9-pointer I had shot. I was with Will. We were out checking trail cameras, and I'm walking up to the camera, and Will's like, "There he is." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "There's the buck." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" He's like 100 yards, just at the base of this mountain. Standing in barberry, so all I could see was his neck. I think he was standing over a doe. So I had walked up a couple more yards where I could get a clear shot with no sticks. And I free-handed about 90 yards. I shot him right in the neck and dropped him.
What was that with?
20 gauge.
Oh, nice. That's sick.
So, yeah, and then a couple times I went with Will and he shot some deer. It's definitely funner when you got a buddy with you.
Yeah, just because you're both there experiencing it. If you look at every picture of Matt with something that he's just killed, you'll never see a bigger smile on his face. I think everyone knows that. And it's just ear to ear.
And the most recent was the bear I shot last year with the crossbow.
That was with Will too,
yeah,
right?
Will took me out. We were hunting deer. I had known there were some bears in the area, but I wasn't expecting one to come out. And all of a sudden, all the deer in the field got spooked. Out comes this bear. And here I am sitting in a ground blind, paralyzed in a wheelchair. Like, fuck, this is getting real. So the bear finally...
That could be a problem, man.
Yeah. He had no idea we were there, actually. We had actually just set that tent up that afternoon to go out hunting.
So hold on, back up. So you guys are going out for deer, right?
Yeah.
And at this point, you're in your wheelchair, and you guys have bows.
Yeah, I have a bow. Will does not have any weapon.
Okay.
Crossbow.
Is that the only weapon you have is a bow?
A crossbow, yep.
Okay. So, and there's a bear.
It's granite.
How far is this bear from you?
I shot him at 57 yards.
Oh my God. Okay. How big was this bear?
It was about 350 pounds.
I guess you guys are lucky he didn't know you guys were there, and he wasn't interested in you.
Exactly.
Sweet.
That's why I decided to shoot him when I did, because I didn't want him.
Right.
One, I thought it was going to be an awesome trophy to kill, and two, I didn't want him to come any closer, so I took the first shot I could.
Sure.
How was Will handling the situation?
We were pretty cool. We were actually hoping he would give us a shot at that point, because he came out of the field and instantly sat on his back and sat on his butt and just started scratching. And at that point, we were taking it all in, and then I'm like, shit, man. I hope he gives us an opportunity to get a shot off.
What's the distance that you're good with your crossbow?
So the crossbow scope has it's got the regular crosshair and it's got lines underneath it. So you sight it in for 20 yards on the crosshair, and then 30, 40, 50 is.
And you did 57.
Yeah. So the crosshairs are black on a black animal. I can't really move. My neck is fused.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get in the scope, line up the crosshairs that are black on the black bear, and kind of give it some Kentucky windage because I don't have a 60-yard pin.
Right. And you're in the chair you're in right now.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So was it was broadside or it was facing you?
It was completely broadside.
Okay.
I shot it right behind the shoulder. And
What vitals did you hit?
definitely took out both lungs. He ran 45 yards, and he was dead.
Damn.
My brother, Will, and my dad came to track it, and I'm just sitting back because I can't help. I can't go through the bushes, and they're like belly crawling through this thick-ass shit.
Because they can't walk through it. It's so thick.
It's so thick they can't walk through it.
Yeah.
The bear barreled right through it.
Yeah.
He didn't go very far, but I'm sure they were pretty scared. Belly crawling with a flashlight looking for, hopefully...
Looking for a black bear in the bushes.
Yeah, that you would hope was not still alive.
Yeah.
Did Will video it or no?
No, we didn't because Will has to help me. He had to help me get
it
lined up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Were you guys pretty confident that you hit it pretty good?
Yeah, I had lighted knocks on the crossbow, so we saw the shot.
Oh, nice.
We saw right where the arrow hit it.
Did you eat any of that?
Or the bolt, rather. I donated it to my neighbor. He loves bear.
So did he eat it?
Yeah, I'm sure he ate it all by now. He gave me a piece of it. I tried. I didn't like it at all.
Some people say it's so good, but I hear more bad stories than good.
It's hard to explain. When you skin the bear, it looks like that's not hard to explain. It looks exactly like a human, but just to smell when you skin it and how oily they are. When you take it out,
they stink, right?
You take it out of the package to cook it, and you're like, yeah. I think a lot of guys soak it in milk or buttermilk or something to try and get rid of that
smell or taste.
But he makes sausage, has the roasts, and didn't go to waste.
Did you do anything? You're keeping the hide, I'm assuming.
I got a mount from so he'll have his front legs and his head poking out of the wall.
Okay. Nice.
Kind of perched up on a piece of wood.
Do you know when that's supposed to be done?
I haven't even gotten the call that the hide was back from the tannery.
And that was that was last year?
Yeah, that was last October.
Last fall. Did you guys do any turkey hunting this spring?
Yep. I've gone out 3 times. Second and third time, I never heard a turkey or saw one. The first time, we had an excellent hunt. If I had $1 for every time the turkey gobbled, I'd be rich.
You'd have the same amount of dogs you have now.
Yeah. No, I said if I had $1 for every time he gobbled.
Oh, I thought you said a dog.
No, sorry, $1.
You're good. But nothing. You guys didn't get anything close.
He came in. He was in range for a shotgun. Obviously in range for a crossbow, but I had the crossbow because that's really the only thing I can see through the scope clearly. The shotgun, the stock is just too long for me. But he was 40 yards, gobbling his head off. He just would not come any closer. And there's too much underbrush for me to be able to get a clear shot with the crossbow.
And you're just in a pop-up ground blind?
Yeah.
Nice. You shot one other thing with that since your accident, haven't you?
Yeah, I shot it.
Didn't you shoot a deer?
I shot a 10-pointer, yep. I actually got that mount back.
Yeah, you sent me a picture of it.
Just last week and the week before.
If I get any better with my editing skills, I'll have a picture of that pop up as soon as we talk about it.
Okay.
I just got to figure out how to do this. All right, so you're paralyzed now. Do you want to tell us about your accident? Walk us through any of that.
Yeah, so I was 28 at the time, working full-time excavation, side work, whatever. I would get home, take care of my dogs, back to work on the weekends. It was August 5th, the night of August 5th. I had some friends over, and I had went inside to let the dogs out. They were in the pool already. I put the dogs back in, changed into my bathing suit, and that's about the last thing I remember. I had woken up at the bottom of the pool, not being able to move. Scared. I was scared for my life that nobody would notice where I was or maybe think I was joking. I was just stuck at the bottom of the pool. Couldn't do anything. Couldn't move. I don't know what happened. Don't know how I jumped or dove into the pool.
And nobody knows. Nobody watched you. Nobody was watching you.
No, I don't think so.
So yeah, so you don't know what happened, and nobody else does.
I just remember laying on the deck of the pool saying, don't call my dad, I'll be fine. Type of deal. And then,
Was it dark out by then?
It was dark. I had.
And so obviously somebody noticed, and they got you out of the pool.
Yeah, my friend Ryan and his girlfriend.
So how long? I mean, you couldn't have been in there too long.
No, I think at the hospital they said I had some water in my lungs, but it wasn't crazy. So I wasn't down there just sucking in water. So
did they have to give you CPR?
No, they pulled me out of the. Okay. I remember. I don't think I remember getting pulled out, but I remember laying on the deck soaking wet, not being able to move.
So did they, based on your injuries or where your neck broke, could they tell what way you might have hit the pool, or did they even try to figure any of that out, or no?
According to the surgeon, C4 and C5 were exploded. He was picking pieces out, so he said I hit it hard.
Was there did you have anything on your head? Any bruising or from where you hit?
No, I don't remember. I mean, I remember going to the local hospital here, and I don't remember the night. I remember waking up on, I have memories of the stretcher going out to the helicopter, getting on the helicopter, and then that's all I remember.
So you went they drove you to a hospital. Did you have an ambulance come, or they drove you?
Yeah, the ambulance came. They drove me to the local hospital here in Poughkeepsie, and then they flew me down to Westchester.
And then that was when they did surgery down there. Then how long was it between that and when you came back home?
So I was in the ICU there for 21 days. I was on a ventilator. And then they gave me, I had a trach in my neck. You can kind of see the hole.
Yep.
So then that's how I was breathing through that. So then from there I went to rehab called Helen Hayes, which was down in Rockland County. I was there from the end of August till October 5th.
So this was This was 2022. Was there still a lot of there was still some COVID stuff going on then, wasn't there?
Yep. All the COVID restrictions were still pretty much in place. The rehab had strict COVID. I was only allowed to have visitors from 4 to 7 at night. One person at a time.
I remember I was waiting. I waited till you got out of there to come back and see you. Because from what I remember Will and Andy saying, you basically could have one visitor for like an hour a day.
Yeah, pretty much sucked.
And that's what they said. Like the people were pretty brutal. But I mean, anyone that you dealt with as far as when you could be in and out.
I wasn't making any progress there, really. I could kind of do this with my left arm. So I think that's why they got rid of me so soon, is I wasn't making any progress. So then, basically, 2 weeks before they sent me home, they called my dad in for a meeting, and they're like, you need this, this, and this, and this for him to come home. I have stairs. I live in a raised ranch, so I have stairs to get in. My bathroom is a tub, just a tub with a shower. I had no way of getting into the house. And I had no way to take a shower. So basically, my dad, my brother, all my close friends nearby, they built a special walkway in the back of my house because I had, the way my driveway is, you go up the driveway and there's a retaining wall with 3 stairs up to the grass. So they had built a nice walkway, an inclined walkway up to an elevator they had to buy. So they had to demolish my lower deck with the pool, and the elevator goes up to my upper deck, which then I could go in through my sliding glass doors. And they had to tear out my bathroom, take the master closet out, extend the bathroom so I could get pushed into the bathroom on a wheelchair and take a shower. In 2 weeks' time, they had to do all this.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
We should have somebody turn our light on for you. It's gotten dark.
Hey, Dad.
We can.
Dad. Dad.
Bodie heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you turn this light on for me?
Yes. What's up next? There you go,
And the kitchen light, please.
Kitchen light. Good.
Yeah.
Now
There we go.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, cool. No worries, man.
Now we can see that pretty face
I
again.
have plenty. Oh, I see the dog.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there he
Hey,
is.
Bodie's first appearance on the podcast.
Hey, buddy, what's up? He heard your whistle when you whistled for your dad. He heard you,
Which is
heard that.
wild because we have headphones on.
Yeah,
But
it's crazy.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So all your friends and your family basically hauled ass and built all that stuff so you could come home.
They were working till midnight out on the walkway with demo saws, lights on.
Mhm.
I'm sure my neighbors weren't happy, but they.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to for all that?
Well, I don't want to forget anybody, but my dad, my 2 brothers, Will, Bill Murphy, his crew. And I apologize if I forget anybody else. I think Andrew's wife did some painting on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool.
And yeah,
That's awesome.
they all, even if I forgot anybody, thank you for all the help.
So what's it been like for you since you've been home and everything you've been going through?
So all the work they did is a huge help for me. every day, just to get outside safely with no help. I mean, I got home from therapy. Like I said, I couldn't move. The local hospital sent, their therapist here for a couple months, and then I think they ended up not taking my insurance anymore. So me and Tim had a friend, John Shanks.
Shout out to John Shanks.
I kept asking him, his stepdad owned a physical therapy place. I'm like, you think your stepdad could help me in any way? He's like, I don't know if he could help you, to be honest, but I'll give you his number. So, Bill's his name. Shout out to Bill, who's got me this far. He comes 3 days a week. At the time, I think he was coming 5. We were putting in a lot of work. It wasn't until that December till my right arm actually moved for the first time. The left arm, the bicep, was working. And we just put in work every day. Now he comes 3 days a week. I ended up redoing my basement.
Lay down.
I gutted the basement and I bought a cable machine. And now we go down there and just put in work.
So you just got that. How long did you got that like within the last couple of weeks? Because I was there a month ago when you'd ordered it.
Yeah. So we had kind of outgrown the stuff we could do sitting up in the bedside workout activities that he would give manual resistance for me. But now this is going to be awesome where I can track my weights, actually see the progress on the machine, just doing more weights as I progress.
So you're going down there 3 times a week with him?
Yep.
Does he give you stuff to do when he's not there too?
I can, but I just had a surgery a week and a half ago, so I've been taking it. I'm taking it a little easy so I don't strain the incision.
Yeah.
So you're using this cable machine to do like weighted workouts, but is it also like for just like general mobility as well?
Yeah, it definitely helps stretch, general mobility, and it's just one repetition after the other is the same. It's not like Bill can't say, "Oh, I'm giving you 20 pounds of resistance," and keep it steady for a whole workout.
Right. So you're kind of taking the guessing out of it, and now you can actually track it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I definitely stepped it up a notch.
Yeah, so even if you're like, say you're doing like 5 pounds, like even if you do that consistently, like you're just gonna keep getting stronger. There's no like, especially your age too. Like that's like you're still at an age where you're producing hormones for stuff to grow.
Yeah. So going back to my injury, I had lost. I was about 170 pounds, and in those short 20 days in the ICU, I was down to 140.
So you lost like 30 pounds in that 20 days.
I didn't eat for 5 days. They had a hard time getting the feeding tube up my nose before they did surgery and put the tube straight into my stomach.
What are you at now? What do you weigh now?
To be honest, I don't have a scale, but I'm probably 155.
Okay.
So you still got you're still reasonable body weight. Yeah.
I mean, I could talk for hours about the injury, but every day I had a bed sore on my sacrum, which I developed in the last couple days in ICU, which then turned into like a 6 centimeter wide by 2 centimeter deep bed sore on my sacrum. That finally healed I think that December, so took about 4 months to heal.
So now, right now, you have what do you have, an aide during the week, and then it's your family at night and on the weekend.
Yeah.
Who covers those shifts?
So my dad, he usually stays 4 nights a week. He'll come here after work at 5 and stay till, he gets up at 5:45. He gets himself ready, takes care of my dogs. He goes off to work, and my aide comes at 7.
And then he's back there after in the afternoon again.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays she works 7 to 5, and the other days she works 7 to 1. And my ex-girlfriend's mother is a huge help. So
she's there. She's there some days too.
Yeah, she is a nurse by trade, and she takes care of all that stuff for me. She does all my meds, and my ex-girlfriend actually helps me out a lot as well.
And then is your brother Gary there? Is he there on the weekends?
Gary usually stays on Fridays and Tuesdays, and those are the shower days.
Mm-hmm.
So he helps out with that. My uncle, my dad's twin brother, comes every other Saturday while my dad goes to the archery shop.
And then Will. It seems like every time I talk to
Will, if I called Will right now and told him I wanted to go get dinner at McDonald's, he would come and pick me up. If I told him I needed to get out of bed, he'd come do it right away. He comes 4:00 in the morning to bring me hunting. He had brought me to therapy every day last summer. I mean, it's just the people you least expect to step up and help you. It's kind of like Will and Vic. Not that I wouldn't expect them to help me, but Will. I always thought Will was the type of person I didn't think he had this side of feelings and helpfulness until my injury.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's one that him and Andy, but I to just talk to him so much, and every time I talk to him, he's doing something with you. He's setting up a hunt. He's doing this and that, and every time I come back there and make plans with you, usually it involves Will because he just can orchestrate everything.
And then for a while, I think it was 3 months it took me to get. I had to do so many Zoom calls with my health insurance to get an aide, to even be able to hire an aide. So at the beginning, it was Andrew, Ashley, and Jackie. I mean, they were here all day long when my dad was at work, up until, Andrew's wife was pregnant. She was kind of a high-risk pregnancy, so, he was here up until she was probably 5 months pregnant, helping out as well.
Yeah, no, definitely lucky to have friends and family like that.
Yeah.
How do you, I would imagine you've had to pick up some new hobbies. What's that been like? I imagine it's challenging for anybody to pick up new hobbies. And so
Really,
what's that been like for you?
really challenging for me because, like I was saying before, I was never one to sit around. watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I have caught up on, some movies that,
Yeah,
you're
that makes
supposed
sense,
to
man.
watch.
That makes sense. You should be catching up on some movies. So yeah, that makes sense.
Have you been listening to any shitty podcasts?
Yeah, I listen to podcasts now. I go outside and I just hang out. I feel like I'm part of the old retired guys that live around me. Just nothing to do. Hang out outside. Anything I can do with Will. Anytime Will doesn't have to go on deliveries, because let me take a step back and talk to you about my pickup truck.
Oh yeah.
I have a Chevy 1500 4-wheel drive, 4-door. And this place in Indiana, they install wheelchair lifts in these pickup trucks. So the passenger doors, the two doors are somehow welded together, and they open up towards the sky like a bat wing.
Like a Lamborghini.
Yeah. And then you press a button and the platform comes out and then goes down. And I just back on the wheelchair platform, and then it picks me up, sets me back in the truck, and the doors close. So
it's awesome.
I have my own transportation, which is, I don't know how to explain how great that is. So anytime Will or my dad can take me to work where they don't have to, bounce around, and I can just hang out in their general area, I go out with them. Anything under 80 degrees, I'm freezing cold. If I get I can only feel from here up. But if I get any sort of breeze on what I can feel, it's lights out, because party's over, I'm freezing.
So you're always wearing a sweatshirt and whatnot? Yeah.
What's the weather there like right now?
Today it was cloudy, but it was like in the 70s.
Because you just got a t-shirt on now. You just keep it pretty warm in the house too. Yeah.
And I think the next 4 or 5 days is supposed to be in the 80s here. So that'll be good.
Nice.
That's my type of weather.
So, like, mentally for you, the best thing for you is like getting outside, just to lift you up and get out of the house. Yeah.
No matter if I'm just sitting in the driveway sunbathing, or if I'm off with anybody, just doing something.
Yeah. Don't you? I mean, you remember, Kyle? You remember Miles City?
Mm-hmm.
I remember one day when we were in Miles City. Yeah,
I remember a little bit.
We all kind of remember Miles City. I do that year because I didn't drink that year. You were here.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about Miles City. But I remember we were at the rodeo and we're like, what should we do? And you're like, I don't want to go back to the house and sit around the house. Like, I remember you saying that. So you're not like,
remember you guys
always been that way.
You guys were like playing poker in the mornings, and I'm like, let's go for a walk over there. Let's go do something. Let's go have a catch in the yard.
And it's like 40 degrees out and blowing snow sideways, and you're like, let's go play baseball outside.
Yeah, that was the weekend. The weather was really nice, really shitty, all in the same weekend.
I think it got nice by like the last day we were there.
Yeah.
They just have no relax button. Looking back a few years, my buddy Matt had a thermal for hunting coyotes at night, and he took me and Will with him, and you just have to look through it once and you're addicted. So then I had just bought my house, so I wasn't in really any shape to be buying a $4,000 scope. But Will had bought one, so then Will had shared his with me. Our buddy Matt had moved to Kentucky, and first $4,000 I saved up, that was the first thing I bought. And we would go from 7 o'clock at night till sometimes 12, sometimes 3. Sometimes we would go till 6 in the morning and go straight to work.
And then go to work.
I mean, hunting coyotes with that thermal scope is just, it's next level. Like, you look through it the first time and you're like, I don't think civilians should be able to own this thing.
Crazy. They took me once, and it's so cool. It's like it feels like you're when you look through that scope, you feel like you're playing a video game, and then you remember it's real life.
Yeah.
It's and you can see field mice. Like it's good. And then you think like, this is what the Army has. This is what
Right.
It's creepy.
Just thinking of things, I just want to make sure I got that out there too.
What's that? The thermal? Yeah. So have you done thermal hunts since your accident?
Yeah. I went out this past winter. Like I said, it's really hard for me to be out in the cold. So I had one chance at a coyote. He came in twice to the collar. So what I do is I hook a rope to my hand and then to the trigger, and I pull the trigger. But the way the gun was angled, because I try it before I go out, with nothing in the gun to make sure the rope is tight enough. But for some reason, the way I was angled or something, when I had the coyote in my crosshairs, there was too much slack in the rope, and I wasn't able to get the trigger off. But turkeys, I still haven't gotten a turkey paralyzed, and coyotes.
So you got till the end of the month. Are you going to go out anymore for turkeys?
Yeah, so I went out Friday. Didn't hear anything. You know how it is hunting turkeys in New York, too.
Yeah.
And then I might go out tomorrow morning or Monday. The weather looks good, so I gotta keep trying.
So what's your what's your goal for like physical therapy? Are you hoping that at some point you can make it to where you can drive yourself?
Yeah, I'm also looking into a tendon transfer surgery where they just take an active nerve or tendon that I have and tie it to my hand. So hopefully maybe I could get some fingers so I would be able to, start my truck, use the remote. Yep. I would have to upgrade trucks to a driver's side door with hand controls to drive. I have a flicker, more than a flicker of my triceps, so that's really what we're trying to get improved, because if I lie down and put my hand to my face, my hands are stuck there. I can't get my arms down.
So it's like triceps, biceps, and triceps is what you're trying to strengthen?
Yeah. And shoulders. I have a lot of shoulders.
Ladies like those biceps.
Yeah.
Got to get them.
But I have a problem sticking to like a meal plan or protein shakes. Like, I'll do it for a week and I just can't. I don't know why I can't stay consistent, and I need to start getting more consistent with that. So I'm giving myself the maximum stuff my body needs to improve.
Are you asking me and Kyle to hold you accountable?
Yeah, somebody has to.
All right. Well, you can pay us every day that you miss. You can send us $100 check.
Wow, all right.
How's that? Does that sound like you can do that?
For someone who doesn't have a job, that sounds great.
Well, then I guess you're going to have to drink those protein shakes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just for every day you don't stick to your plan,
And my
You got to pay something, so fucking stick to it, and you want to pay anything.
my dad loves his pasta, so I got to get off of that too.
Yeah, I imagine that's not like, just overall, that's not
Go lay down.
good nutrition if you're trying to build back muscle and recover.
Yeah.
I barely ever eat that shit just because it like fucks up the arthritis I have in my body. Like my joints are more sore, so makes sense. So tell me, you told me when I was there, what's the name of the young guy or gentleman's name that he had an accident and because he had the surgery you were talking about,
yeah,
right?
he had his injury when he was 14. His name's Nate, and he's been at it since he's 14. I think he's 20. And I mean, last year he competed in like bodybuilding.
Oh, cool.
He's pretty shredded.
So, and
awesome.
he can drive himself, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you can never compare yourself to anybody else because everybody's injury is different.
Yeah.
According to the surgeon, my spinal cord is completely cut in half. So there's incomplete and complete injuries. So people with incomplete injuries will get more function.
So yours was complete?
Yeah, and I believe he is incomplete.
Okay. But if you could get that tendon surgery, then you're hoping you could get to a point where you could drive?
Absolutely. I mean, I could probably drive now, but I would need help, getting in. And I could probably push the button to start somehow with my arm, but I need to get my spasms under control before I think about driving, because any involuntary motion, even in the wheelchair, if I go over a bump, I'll get a spasm, which overpowers me. So I wouldn't want to risk myself driving.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's probably just like you got to build like new muscles, the new kind of like new neurons in your brain, and like how to reuse everything because it's all like different now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you, I don't know. I mean, maybe this is a dumb analogy, but it's like if you got in an excavator and all the controls are totally different, and everything's just wired completely backwards. So like eventually you'll figure it out if you do it long enough. But it's just like you've been doing it the same way for 28 years. So now it's like not only you have to learn how to do it, but you got to unlearn 28 years.
Right.
So I imagine it's just going to take time, but like I'm sure you're going to keep having incremental progress.
Yeah, like even trying to use my triceps, like I feel like I'm lifting 2 tons just to get a little bit of tricep to work.
Yeah.
And that's the way I think I'm supposed to do it. I could be doing it wrong. You have to relearn how to use all your muscles. If there's a flicker there, my therapist says if there's a flicker, there's hope. And he wants to target those things to try and get it to work.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, that's crazy because you have like an adult's mind, but you have to like, you're like an infant mentality of needing to relearn and retrain everything.
Right. And then there's the aspect of being an adult with your own house and having an aide or having your dad here taking care of you again. It's just, it's weird.
Yeah, I imagine it's frustrating because like you take, it's your house that you bought and you bought it with money that you worked for, and it's like, fuck, now I gotta have someone else take care of me. Like I did all this shit on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's, I guess, still like very fortunate that it's family that you have there to do that for you.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard. Privacy is hard. There's always somebody around. I got to the point now where I use my AirPods which I've always had. Never thought about using them on the phone, so because everything I do is on speakerphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. At least it's a little more private. You're only hearing the conversation and not anyone who's there.
Yeah. And then you have the pain aspect, which rules my life right now. I'm so actively trying to get this under control.
Has it gotten better? So like it seemed like, at least from what I like when I was there a month ago to the last time before, it seemed like you weren't as in much pain as I remember.
It was a little better a couple months ago, for a steady couple months. I was in and out of the hospital 4 times with sepsis, with the indwelling catheter.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they did the surgery, put the catheter straight into my bladder, like everything is back on top-notch pain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Spasms and pain are just out of control.
Was that expected or no?
I don't know. And a lot of the doctors local, they know of spinal cord injuries, but they didn't go to school just to study spinal cord injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor I had at my rehab, she was great, but they're not allowed to have any outpatient visits.
Oh, really?
So she cannot see me in person. So she was out on maternity leave for a while. I finally got back in touch with her a little while ago. So I gotta pick her brain some more about all of this.
So she'll at least take phone calls from you and let you know, give you your opinion.
She's allowed to do Zoom, but that's it.
Right on.
The pain is like, if I had to describe it, it's kind of like if you were getting dragged up the road behind a pickup truck with no clothes on, and the road rash straight down to the bone. Constantly.
Where do you feel it in your body?
So I feel it where my old bed sore was.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, now it goes down both legs to my toes.
So below your waist with your legs, so that's feeling. Is there like any movement or feeling below your waist?
No, I have nothing. No feeling, no movement. The only thing I can move is my shoulders, bicep, and that little bit of tricep I have.
Maybe this is a weird question and you can just tell me to fuck off if you want to, but will you have dreams about that, like having feeling or movement in your legs?
Oh, maybe 2 or 3 times a week I have dreams that I'm fully functional person.
Mm-hmm.
Like in an environment, I'll have dreams about helping Will or, hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have some crazy dreams that I wake up from, but I do have dreams that I'm back to normal or it's my past life. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess I haven't asked, I haven't asked anyone that, but I can't tell you how many dreams I've had like that. I'm like, Matt, like, holy fuck, you're and then I wake up and then I realize fuck, that was just a dream. I'm like,
yeah,
it's just I don't it sucks for me. I couldn't imagine that it just sucks 100 times more
I have
for you.
The first 5 seconds I wake up, it's like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know this that exact feeling, and it's it's fucked up, but when someone passes away, and you were close to them.
Yep.
And you wake up and there'll be that 5 seconds that you don't think about it if it's all you're thinking about, and then it hits you. So I'd imagine that's probably a very similar feeling what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the nights I do sleep. A lot probably 4 nights a week, I don't sleep much at all.
Are you sleeping in that chair?
No, I have an air mattress.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean that bed like folds flat and then retracts up, right?
Yeah, every couple hours I have to change positions, so
Got it.
I don't get another bed sore.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best thing you've been able to do for sleep?
Well, the doctor gave me a sleeping pill which didn't work. I've tried melatonin. I've tried gummies. I've tried smoking weed. The gummies and the weed help a little bit. The only downside to that is when I do it, the marijuana makes my pain feel like my pain is on steroids. Like it doubles and triples the pain I feel.
Will that be like the next day?
No, that's instant.
Then
10 minutes in to smoking, or like an hour after you eat the gummy. That's the first thing I feel is my pain level skyrockets, and then I do that just to get to the point where it will relax me enough to shut my mind off and hopefully fall asleep.
you ever tried when you're trying to fall asleep to like just listen to your breathing?
I've tried that, yeah.
Even just like the last couple of weeks, for whatever reason, I've been trying to go to bed a lot earlier, and I'll literally just breathe. Like if I'm just listening to my breathing, it's happened like 4 or 5 times in the last week, and then I'll just like next thing I'll know, I'll wake up the next morning.
Yeah, what helps me is when I'm up in the chair all day, outside, fresh air. I sleep good. I usually sleep good.
Yeah, I mean it's probably like just like anyone. Like if you haven't gone out and done anything all day, then it's a lot harder to sleep. But if you like feel like you've moved around and gone outside, it probably makes sleeping a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
What are the sleeping meds that you tried?
So she has me on trazodone. And then I started taking recently temazepam or Restorol. It's the same thing. That's like, I think it's almost like a downer. So it shuts my mind completely off. And I'm able to get like a solid 4 hours of sleep before I wake up. And then, change position or something, and I'll go right back to sleep.
I can't remember what kind of drug it was, but it'll be the podcast that comes out before yours. Our friend Bailey, she was telling me and Kyle sleeping. Was it Ambien that she was on?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on Ambien, but she said it was like, I think it was fucking her up pretty bad. It's supposed to be really bad for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But if you listen to that one,
well, let's just say Ambien is not. Well, I'm not a doctor.
Yeah,
but I don't think Ambien is good for people who like normal people, right? So like normally completely functioning folks, like that shit, it's not good for you. Your situation may be very different. I have no idea.
Yeah, so this doctor I see, she's specialized in pain management, but she doesn't want to just prescribe me drugs. We do try different drugs to try and tackle the pain, but nothing is really, it's not, a lot of the stuff isn't controlled. She wants to, like, she's done 2 MRIs, x-rays. She wants to try and find out where the pain is coming from. But so far, like a year and a couple months, I've been seeing her. Nothing on the x-rays, nothing on the MRI. I have some slight tissue swelling in my right hip, but nothing to show that where this pain was coming from.
that's probably really annoying. Like that haven't gotten to the root cause yet, but at the same time, it's probably like a huge blessing because if you had some doctor that was just putting you on a bunch of drugs, like, you could get down the road and you'd be more fucked up from the drugs than you'd even be from the injury. You'd be a zombie.
Yeah. Not only that, but they make you constipated, and I can't. I need special drugs and an enema to make me go to the bathroom, so I don't want to get in that routine of being constipated all the time.
And then you're taking another drug to mitigate that.
Having other problems with my body.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just realized I have gum in my mouth. Hopefully I haven't been fucking chewing on it the whole time into this microphone. I guess not.
I haven't heard you.
We'll see. We'll see when we get back on.
What is that?
It's like I'm like, every time I watch the video, just watch my ADD and everything I'm fidgeting with. It's like it's an adapter to plug like a 3.5 millimeter into a 7 millimeter or something.
What?
I know.
Yeah,
I figured that's exactly what you were thinking.
It's an audio. It's like an audio adapter. Like if you imagine you're plugging in like an electric guitar.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. Like that.
What else? Got any other questions, Kyle?
I don't know. I mean, we covered a lot, right? We're 2 hours and 13 minutes in.
Matt, this is the most you've talked since we met. You son of a bitch.
We'll do it again, Matt.
Yeah.
We'll keep checking in on you, man.
Right. Yeah.
So you owe us $100 a day if you break your nutrition plan. I'll follow up with Will and find out what it is.
Matt, is it that they don't taste good, or you get bored of them, or what?
I have no appetite in the morning when I wake up. I don't get hungry until 1:30 for lunch, and then I eat lunch.
Yeah.
But
so you're like forcing yourself to eat. That's the problem.
Yeah, and then if I do have breakfast, I'm not hungry at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
then
so I got it.
I'm hungry at 4, and then we eat dinner at 5:30 or 6, and then I'm not hungry for dinner until later. So
I might ask you kind of a weird question related to this. So, it's just like energy. It's just like a different type of energy. So, if you go out and, say you're on the farm or something and you're out physically working, you get hungry because you're expending so much energy, right?
Right.
Well, for you, you're not expending a lot of physical energy. Is there something that you've ever noticed that gets your brain really like fucking tired and worn out, and then you got to eat? Meaning, and that, so I guess the question is like, there's certain things that I know that I do that like it like wears my brain out. Like I really got to think hard for extended periods of time, like several hours in a row, and I need to eat to kind of feed my brain.
Right.
Is there something like that you could do, almost like a brain workout in the morning?
I haven't found anything, but if you have any recommendations or anything,
that's a good. Yeah, if anyone who listens to this has any, that's a really good thought. Because when you said that, I was thinking, they say when someone plays chess, they'll burn like 4,000 calories.
Yeah,
just from thinking. They're not doing anything, but
I don't know. Research it. I mean, I'll research it too, but research it. I would imagine there's a whole bunch of activities. For me, if I have a really interesting book, and it's a book that I can't put down. Like I literally, it'll be like after dinner and I've just eaten and I'm like, fuck, I got to eat because I'm like reading this book or whatever. So, I'll think of some stuff, but like,
I'll think too. I'm trying to think if there's like anything.
Let me ask that question. So, could you read a book right now, or do you have to read off of like a Kindle, or what would that look like?
I personally cannot read like a regular book, but I could do a book on the phone probably, and I can swipe the pages.
Okay.
If you had a Kindle, can you set that Kindle to voice settings like your phone is and just get it to turn page?
I don't know how any other phones or anything work besides, the Apple.
I don't know. That might be something interesting. I don't read off a Kindle, but a lot of people really like them. I've never been whether it's an iPad or a Kindle, I personally have never really liked them. But I also haven't tried them out that much. But they have like 3 or 4 different sizes of Kindles. And so the size kind of matters based on
Font.
The font, how many words are on the page. And you can adjust the font anyway, like it's all digital, so like you could adjust it, but like you can also adjust like the lighting, right? So like it can get brighter or darker. You can kind of do a dark background with like white letters. Anyway, I think there's a bunch of shit you can do, but that might be interesting to get you one of those.
Yeah, that's good. I just made notes because I'm going to research about it too, because I know some fucking books. I'd see right now I'd say I could just send you the audio books, but if like the reading would do that, like you should read these books because they're good books. You'd like them.
Yeah, the other thing is I think like I don't know, maybe more power to you if there's an audio book that you like listening to and that gets your brain fired up. But there's something about reading for me, like reading the actual book, where I have to like truly pay attention. It's not like it's being read to me. But I don't know, man. You could think about stuff like that whatever gets your brain all fired up, you could expend a lot of calories like that. And that's probably, you might get hungry after doing something like that.
And
it's a good thought.
Another problem is, when I don't get a good night's sleep and I'm up till 2, 3 in the morning, I will eventually fall asleep. And I sleep till like 9:30. If I don't have therapy that day, which is also, that's a bad habit I have to break.
Yeah, I almost wondered because if I want to like get ready for sleep, what I'll try to do like an hour before sleep is read a book, and it'll put me to sleep too. So I wonder if that would not only like burn a bunch of mental calories, but get you like you get to where you like can't even look at another page and you start dozing off.
Yeah. I mean, I am hungry after dinner. I am hungry again at 9 o'clock. I eat a shitload again then. So I don't know if I could squeeze like a protein shake and then.
I never eat breakfast anyway. I mean, not never, but a lot of times I don't eat breakfast. I'm just not hungry in the morning, but like by lunch, I'm fucking starving.
A lot of times when I was working, especially with Clinton and that crew, we wouldn't take a lunch. We would have breakfast at 9:30 or 10, and then you'd work the rest of the day. You didn't get that feeling like after you eat lunch, you eat too much, and then you got to go back and do a physical labor job, and you just feel like shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
All right, so if we're gonna do another podcast with you, what are your physical therapy goals? We're gonna keep you accountable. What do you got?
Well, I got to keep working out on the triceps. And right now, I can't even do any. If I take the pin out and I have no weight, which I think is 10 pounds, I can't do a bicep curl.
Okay, so that's your first goal.
Yeah.
And that's one arm?
Either arm I can't. I mean, the left arm I can kind of do it, but a lot of times, if something's too heavy when I'm curling, my arm kicks out like that.
I got you. It just kind of turns over.
Yeah.
So that, and then you want to just keep your nutrition on point.
Yeah, I want to start that this week.
All right, well, we're going to check in on you. And then in like a month or something, we're going to do this again and see where you're at.
All right.
And if you want to just do one sooner, just call me. We can do it whenever.
Yeah, I mean, kind of rushed through my 20s and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, because we have a lot more to go back on. I feel like there's a whole section we missed, but I'm sure this will happen if after you do this, because a handful of people that have done this have said, "Oh, I forgot all this shit."
Yeah.
So then just once you think about it for a few days, then you'll think of more shit. And is there anything anyone can do to help you out, like there or here or in general?
Do some research. I really got to find a specialized doctor.
Yeah, so I guess if anyone who listens to this has any, knows of anyone or can point us in any direction, they can obviously get a hold of me and Kyle on the Instagram or YouTube page. And we'll get a hold of you. So
yeah, I mean, my primary care now, he's awesome. I have both his cell phone numbers. I call him right now and tell him, to an extent what was going on, and he would pick up the phone. But I need to find a spinal cord doctor that would be willing to get on that level. I mean, I don't even care. Healthcare, I could go on about healthcare, but you call 8-10 times, leave a message, and nobody calls you back. I call for prescription refills, nobody calls me back. I just need a doctor who's going to be there when I call. I actually have a problem.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when this comes out, we'll try to share it with as many people as we can, and you should have Andy and Will and everyone. So if people hear this, then somebody's got to know someone, because it could lead to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Someday this hopefully will lead to more people will hear it. But
yeah,
if we try to get this to a lot of people would hear it, and then that might lead to someone that could help you out.
Yeah, no doubt. Next time we can talk about my goals, being paralyzed, what my goals are.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's do it again, man. And just try to get outside as much as you can.
Yeah, good weather's coming.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this, Matt.
Thanks, man.
Nice talking.
Talk to you soon, man.
All right.
Love you, man.
Thanks.
Love you guys. Bye.
See you, man. Love you.